Even as we visit big circuits such as Daytona, Auto Club, or Pocono, there's often no bigger challenge than the short tracks. And tonight, the IORA Cup Series heads to its first half-miler on the schedule for 2025. Welcome back to coverage of Season 7 in the IORA Cup Series, and with our 5th race of the season, it's the track that isn't too tough to tame, but it is in its own right the last great coliseum. This is the Bristol Motor Speedway, the 0.5-mile circuit in the Volunteer State. Bristol, Tennessee plays host once again, and with qualifying on the move, more than 25 drivers are ready and willing to take on this high-banked, high-speed venue for 150 laps. I'll be your host for tonight's event. I'm David Kreutz, commentating and producing, and right now drivers are getting on their way for their first laps on the night. Currently with the provisional pole, it is the number 63 of Henry Kaloff. Let's take a look downstairs and see what's going on as drivers have already begun to prepare. Everett Counts in the 08, a strong rookie in his first ever race. And Everett right now going to be second on the qualifying board, only 5 1,000ths adrift to that of Kaloff. Lars Kinnowith will go in third, and now Jason Semedo goes P5 with 3 minutes left on the clock. Carlos Truther, Devins Baker now on the way. Carlos getting up to P10 through his 2-lap stints. Already one win on the season, a first-time winner this year in the number 39. Truther is looking for an opportunity for his second on this event, if, of course, he gets up to the front of the field. A lot of the heavy hitters have not yet taken a time. River Page is one of which to just now get on the circuit. Page in the number 24. Getting through for his 4th lap, although it looks like that means his first 2, which counted for qualifying, have already come to pass. River will be at the back of the field. More of the same for Chase Schaefer. Now Daniel Mosteller is looking for his first lap. The 87 still has an opportunity here to put together an officially verified lap. If you can't get through those first 2 laps, your times will be invalidated. That's what Demos is looking to avoid as Thurston goes up to the top 15. It looks like James will be in 14th. Alexander Balderas up to P10. Kaloff remains at the top of the board as Daniel Mosteller gets around to end his first lap. That was a 14.914. Lap is good for 9th that time by for Demos, but it looks like this is the lap that will be validated. Couldn't get it around on his first. Demos pushing harder at the stripe. 14.772. Mosteller with a lap time good for 3rd. 69 1,000ths of a second off the pole. Chase Schaefer not able to get a time in, but your 3-time and now defending champion able to get it up to the top of the board. Of course, 2nd row. Compared to many of his competitors, he'll be starting far ahead. And we've got rookie after rookie and part-time drivers too, making up that top 10 of the field. That might not be all too familiar, but they're just about as quick as they come. Michael Cormetis, a veteran, is back on the way. And number 25 right now going to slide right out of line. Cormetis going to have to head down to pit road again. That's, of course, if you want some new tire. Mikey, part-time driver since Season 2, making his first start of the year. Made just about 5 in 2024, so he's going to get himself started a little bit earlier this year. He came back in the summer of 24, now coming back on the first day of spring for the new year. Cormetis and his 2nd lap will be the only one that count for Kaloff Dice Racing. At the line for the number 25. 14.985. That will be good for 14th place as Michael Cormetis sets the final time on the track, but his teammate Henry Kaloff will grab the provisional pole. Lap time is good with a 14.02. 702 at the line. 5 1,000ths ahead of 2nd and about 70 thousandths up on P3. As the field assembles, your starting grid is ready. Let's get to know the field from top to bottom with its familiar faces and all. It's going to be a pole-sitting man that we know well from these short tracks. He raced strong last Saturday night in Richmond to get a podium at SNT, and he'll start up on top today. That's Henry Kaloff with the pole position, and right beside him, Everett Counts, the rookie, in the 08. Daniel Osteller will go third place in the 87, and Lars Kinowitz will again start in the top 5, qualifying in 4th. Aiden Walker is going to be P5, and Yahir Rodriguez goes 6th, with 7th place then and there, the driver of the 071. Douglas Newbigging. You'll have then 8th place Jason Sabeno, 9th will be Braxton Whitaker, and you'll have 10th place in Van Drugman with Alexander Balderas going 11th place. Matthew Brower in the number 73 will round out the top dozen, as 13th place is just behind in Corey Lyles. Michael Cormetis goes P14, 15th place goes to Daytona winner Sean Rowe, 16th goes to the number 96 of James Thurston, and Andres Faras finds himself just after the fact. He's going to be in 17th. 18th place is Carlos Truther in the number 39. 19th goes Devin Baker, and it will be Hudson Sangster, a Noah rookie, in the 42 for P20. 21st place will be Will Shack. Elijah Innes will be 22nd. Shay Schaefer 23rd. Aladon Contreras in 24th. And at the tail end of the grid, River Page for P25. Mohamed Omir will find himself 26th. Trey Kinsey 27th. Jason Didana in 28th. And Michael Deitch 29th. And final driver on the day. 29 drivers, and your pole sitter will be Henry Kaloff in the number 36. Practice made perfect for Henry Kaloff, a man who drove 142 laps in our 55-minute practice session. .150 laps or 75 miles on the docket today. Conditions will be very fair at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. Track temperature of 72 degrees Fahrenheit, winds northeast bound at 10 miles per hour. Only thing is that relative humidity rather high on a clear sky night, which means the track could get slick a little bit quicker than it does usually. So keep out for that. The field's going to have to mind their tires tonight, but it's all going to come down to Henry Kaloff off the jump as the 63 is pushed out in the head by Daniel Mosteller. Welcome back to the last great Coliseum. We are green in Bristol. Kaloff gets away. It's going to be largely single file further on back, although you'll start to see the side-by-side battles between guys like Cormetis, Sean Rowe, and Jim Thurston. Looks like right now it's going to be side-by-side further on back as Corey Lyles looks for 11th place over Sean Rowe, but your leading man sees the yellow flag. Caution is out, back of the field. Cause of incident, potentially Aladam Contreras. We're looking back right now to see if anyone has damage. There's Andres Varas swerving down to the bottom of the circuit. But he looks to be just fine. Contreras was right at the back at the time of this wreck. And it looks like he already has damage. But we're going to take a look back and rewind to show you what happened here. With your first caution of the day, yellow flag coming out. Contreras was already back on the move at the time of it, so we'll look back just a little bit before to give you full context here. As drivers got off and away into the opening section, you'll see Contreras going middle 3 wide. Multiple drivers going by him, Trey Kinsey, and the 92 spins around off turn 4. That is your first yellow, a safety caution for the PBR number 92. A slow start for Contreras. He'll find himself at the back of the field as a result. Caution is out 5 laps in. As we go back to your live feed, we'll restart with lap 7 on the docket. Henry Kaloff got away on that opening launch, but it really was all for naught. This is not going to have any major implications. This opening 5-lap stint, only 2 drivers appear to have gone down to pit road. There's the number 92. That's going to be Aladam Contreras. And, of course, you'll have that number 1 of Elijah Innes just ahead of him. Innes nearly getting involved in that previous incident, the 92 bearing the brunt of the load all by himself. He'll head down now to pit road. That will give the rest of the field a little bit more room up on track. 28 drivers taking it to the start. It looks like 1 man missing, and as it stands, that would be Michael Deitch, who did not start in number 17. Across the line, Kaloff goes low. Up top, it's Daniel Mosteller. And here we go again, restarting officially now at lap number 8 of 150. A reminder that both the Highline Racing League on 9:30 p.m. Eastern start times and the IORA Cup Series on 7:30 p.m. start times will not race next week, and they'll return for the month of April as we take a week off, or rather a day off, for Thursdays live on FTN. Coverage will resume in 2 Thursdays' time after these 2 events. The Integrity Racing League and Saturday Night Thunder are unaffected, but for these 2 championships, they'll get their first of 2 off weeks, and then we'll get back on the run for another 5-race stint in consecutive order. First chance to stop and reflect on the opening part of the campaign. Henry Kaloff is looking to do so with what could be his first win of the season. What excitement it would be for Kaloff, who's been waiting to find victory lane for several seasons now in the IORA Cup Series. He's never quite done it so far. Tonight could be the night, as we now lead into lap number 9. Daniel Mosteller up high, Lars Kinnewith right down low. Green flags out. Kaloff once again gets away. The 87 to Daniel Mosteller now working up to the high side of the circuit. It's going to be a side-by-side fight for the race lead. Kinnewith, number 19, is now just behind it. Was fighting up and in front. Further back, you're going to have that rookie, Everett Kotz. You got to look out for Everett tonight. He is looking strong. He's been up in front since practice. A little bit further back, Corey Lyle's going to slam the wall. He's got some back-end damage now. But it looks like all things considered, Corey is all right to continue, although now he is fading back. Lyle's going to see trouble, and we're going to slow down big as we have 1 driver go around dramatically. That looked to be 82. Look back at our replay. Yellow flag is out. Caution will fly, and a big hit at that. Jason Dodonna slows down. Hudson Sangster does as well. And we're going to take that replay and show you a massive incident as they came out of 1 and 2. Into the back straightaway, we saw trouble. And now going to show you what happened and when it happened here. Braxton Whitaker getting involved in the battle. Devins Baker got by one more time here with Whitaker in the 51. It is your second caution of the day in the opening 14 laps here. And you're watching with Whitaker, and this will show you when the incident occurred. Driver swerving up as the 42 catches a piece. That's the 94 it appears as well. Jason Sametto, by the way. So Jason catching damage big time in his own right. You'll see right here, Sametto in the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. Coming out. Turns 1 and 2. Michael Cormettis right there. And that's when Sametto shot up the circuit, and that's when the contact happened. As the field took him on, Whitaker, Sametto, and notably Mohamed Omir got away at the end, but Jason Didana did not. And the 69 also gets some contact. Caution is out for the second time tonight, and very early to have another incident of that nature. As you can see, Cemento going to be on pit row with some major damage, might be race ending already. As you can see, the right front suspension had been completely torn off the body of the car, which by all accounts is a race ending affair. So hopefully we can see a little bit more Cemento as the night goes on, but I don't think he'll have any chance of the win for the rest of the day. Daniel Mosteller drops high. Henry Kaloff lies low. Restarting at lap number 18. Second caution of the night in the opening stint of this race. Small troubles to start. And waiting to find that rhythm, which should take us the rest of the way there. At the line for the field, Mosteller, your control car. Henry Kaloff, now the man on the bottom, looking behind. Two drivers have led so far today. Both of them still on the front row here. If we got a little bit more time to race, we might see more drivers getting that shot up in front. The field returns to green, and it's still more than 130 laps remaining. Pace cars down and in. Daniel Mosteller up and away. Kaloff finds himself side by side with Kinnewith, who is second on the outside groove. Mosteller far and away up front. With Demos leading, look further back now. As you can see, the fight with Sean Rowe, Michael Cormetis, and even further back now, Carlos Struther in the number 39 trying to get himself in there. Struther in 11th is now going to move up to the top 10 as he gets by Sean Rowe. Sean's going to find himself just outside the top 10. Michael Cormetis in that number 25 has just barely made his way in and is trying to get up to his Henry Kaloff Deitch Racing teammate. That, of course, is the number 63 of Kaloff himself. Although it looks like now Henry's facing some pressure in the quick time as Lars Kinnewith makes it by. That is Lars for P2. Daniel Mosteller going to have to look back now. New man to the catbird seat, and he looks less content to ride than Kaloff did. Henry moved aside. Kinnewith moved ahead. There's that difference not only in mentality, but execution here as the number 19 of Kinnewith is getting closer. Carlos Struther right now runs 10th in what is a single file train throughout the entirety of the top 10. Look further back and you'll see what's going on with Devins Baker in the number 14. Baker right now runs 22nd. Aladam Contreras 21st. You can see further ahead now, Chase Schaefer spinning is Trey Kinsey. The 89 goes to the inside of the circuit, and at the same time as challenging Chase Schaefer, Trey Kinsey ends up going around. Luckily saves it, but you can see what happened again as we give you a replay. Kinsey getting to the back end of the number 99 as Douglas Newbigging was battling with Chase. That's what slowed Schaefer down. Then watch this. And a dramatic slide up the circuit, luckily keeping it in control largely, but sliding and nearly spinning in full. That's going to be a big-time cost for the number 89. Now, as you look back to the front of the field, Daniel Mosteller leads by a half second. Henry Kaloff is back in P2, and you'll see Lars Kinnewith and Everett Kotz together. Everett, again, in his first ever start in that 08, and already looking to be one of the stronger guys in the field. Aiden Walker's number 93, more of the same here. Walker with us again at the front, one-time race winner already this season, and Aiden is looking to find a little bit more in the tank tonight. Ran very well last week, just coming up slightly short of what could have been 2 consecutive victories, and even still, top 10 finish, if not better, remains possible. Walker in the 93 remains behind Kotz. Von Drugman is going to be in P6. James Thurston there 7th, and Yahir Rodriguez remains in 8th. All your guys in the top 10 are now going to be as consistent as they come, keeping themselves single file as opposed to going for many major aggressive moves. And I think that's going to be the different mentality between the front of the field and the back of the field, because already guys like Elijah Innes trying to make some moves up here further on back. Chase Schaefer has to continue fighting hard to get up in front after contact from someone like Trey Kinsey. But even though the back of the field might try to be more aggressive, there are fewer drivers right now outside of the main pack, as we've already had a few retirees. Alexander Balderas, Will Shack, Matthew Brower, Michael Deitch. Jason Semedo is now 20 laps down, mind you. Even if he plans to continue, he'll find himself at the back of the field, although I think he's going to try and go back at it again, although I don't know if he's going to be all too lucky. Michael Cormettis just backed off the circuit from inside the top 10. And so, we're already seeing about 22 drivers on the track, as opposed to 29 who registered to get the ball rolling today. Chase Schaefer up to 14th place as he gets by Varas and Elijah Innes alike. So now he is at the front of the back half of the field, as opposed to being stuck in the middle of this tail end. Still a little bit further back than he would like to be on even battles such as that for 8th and 9th. Sean Rowe and Carlos Truther run just ahead right now of Yahir Rodriguez. It looks like Truther the advantage for P8. Rowe will have it for P9, and both drivers will try to chase Chase Schaefer here. Thurston, of course, going to find himself right up and ahead. Chase Schaefer outside of the top 10. Can't even get himself in the mix right now for what's going on ahead here. Bad news, of course, if the 99 wants to get another good points-paying run. Currently, it looks like he's going to be far and away from one. Although, of course, he would love to get inside the top 10. Not going to be easy tonight. Last week in Victory Lane, of course, it was Schaefer who got the job done at the Pocono Raceway. Now, if he wants to go for 2 consecutive victories, well, the path is not clear, but it might not even be clear to 2 consecutive top 10s by the way things look. Of course, attrition will play a big role here in Bristol. We've already gotten through 40 laps, but in those opening 40, we have lost 5 to 6 drivers, depending on whether or not we see Jason Semedo go back out there. And it looks like right now, Hudson Sangster, the number 42, just got back on track. Even though he's struggling, it looks like Hudson will not quit. Sangster will be 22 laps down in 24th and should have a shot for P23. Oh, Aladam Contreras brings out the caution. It's his second incident of the day. Take a look back now. Contreras, from bad to worse it appears, and once again all the way at the back of the field. And here's why. For the 92, loose coming out of turns 3 and 4, no additional contact. It just looks like make a mistake independently. Checkered flag, of course, far from out. But right now, Contreras putting an end to the tire set. He's going to have to come down and in again, as does the majority of the field. Daniel Mosteller brings in the entire pack. Now we're going to see whether or not he's the first driver out or if he gets beaten by some close competition. It looks like right now, Aiden Walker, Lars Kinnewith, Henry Kaloff all beat out that number 87. Then you'll have Everett Kotz, Alanam Contreras, and Von Drugman. Notably, the 89 of Trey Kinsey was quicker. Didn't quite get it done there. Now Kinsey and Contreras have to get on the move. Looks like Kinsey only entering to exit and get into the second pit stall. Andres Varas now in. which will give back the official race lead, according to timing and scoring anyway, to Aiden Walker. Walker is now in control. Kaloff would be in second. And you'll have Daniel Mosteller, Everett Kotz, and Von Drugman further back, completing the highest 6 positions. Lars Kinnewith finding himself now smack in the middle of the top 5, running exactly in third. Heading back green with about a third of this race already completed. The last great Coliseum looking a little bit different on its outside walls, as you might have noticed. Restart zone painted with orange. The outside walls, once all black, are now checkerboarded with blacks and whites. But overall, it's the same track with the same level of intensity. This half-mile circuit provides more than 25 degrees of banking throughout all 4 of its corners. Similar to some of those super speedway tracks such as Daytona or Talladega in how steep it is relative to the rest of the track. And that's what makes Bristol so fast. Lap times of under 15 seconds are only achievable with the specific way Bristol has been put together. High banking, small distance gives way to high speeds, and they can be turned consistently as well. The field once again will get back at it with about 100 laps remaining from here, more or less 105 when the iRacing pace car dives alone away. One lap to green. Aiden Walker in the highest position he's running all night long, finding himself second. Henry Kaloff back to where it started for the 63, leading the way in P1, of course. Walker, not a surprise to see him up in front, but didn't have the easiest of starts compared to Mosteller or Kaloff, and now he's smack in the middle of those two guys, qualifying 5th. He's made it up 4, and now from the middle of that upper pack, right to its head. Green flags out with Aiden Walker in control. Here we go again. Kaloff and Kinnewith battle each other for second. The lead is all Walker's. Aiden Walker heads up high as Lars Kinnewith heads down to the bottom groove. Here comes the number 19, and that Toyota Supra is moving. It's toe-to-toe now into turns 3 and 4. Kinnewith looking for the race lead for the first time tonight. At the line now, it's going to be side-by-side. Advantage 93 on the high. Still can't quite get there. Contact, it'll be Carlos Truther. Truther goes around sliding across the circuit. Caution is out. 4th of the day. Luckily, it looks like the 39 avoided major contact on the way around, and the field got through on Carlos Truther. Could have been significantly worse, of course, if the field made more contact here, but Truther slamming the outside wall. If there was any indication at first that he was out of sight and out of control, he goes through out of 2. Minor nudge from Sean Rowe, but everyone else gets away. Sean Rowe, Carlos Truther involved. Caution is out. 4th time today here, and Truther now heads into pit road, as does Devins Baker. But the rest of your field, notably those leaders, decide to stay out. Kinnewith in the 19, leading with 52 laps on the day. So far, he is now the 3rd driver to take the lead on pace. Kaloff, Mosteller, Lars Kinnewith. Aiden Walker's gotten close to leading these laps, hasn't officially gone out there and done so. One lap down right now, Jason Dodonna, the first man at 1 under. Aladam Contreras is getting his laps back as he's now 5 down in 22nd. Hudson Sangster is going to find himself back to pit road 15 down. And Jason Cimento, who is 40 laps behind, well, he is still on the track. Looks like he's not giving up. That right front has been partially repaired. There is a tire back on all 4 axles, but I still don't think he's got what it takes to even get back on the circuit today. We'll hope, but it looks very unlikely that we see the resurgence of that number 94 in Cemento. One lap to green. Restart at lap number 55. Now pushed back to 56 as Contreras is still getting himself settled in. Alan Contreras now going to be 3 laps back. Getting closer now to the top 20. Top 20 is going to be drivers within 1 lap. And 21st is also 1 lap down in Corey Lyles. Contreras, the first man, 3 laps down. And he'll head down to pit road again just to slice by and get an extra lap. Lars Kenneth high. Aiden Walker down low. Here we go again. This time by Kenneth is going to have control on the top side. Aiden Walker is going to find himself just behind, and your former race leaders stack up on the outer groove. That's going to be 87 of Mosteller and the 63 of Henry Kaloff. Green flag's out. Kenneth gets a hold on her. Sliding further back, Henry Kaloff and the rookie in Everett Kotz up the circuit, and he's caught up high. Big incident through 3 and 4. Yellow flag is out. Thurston, Truther, Rowe, among others. Yellow flag back in the air. And this time around, it's quite big damage, all things considered. Taking a look at that 0-8, Everett gets loose, then side by side with Drugman, and Kotz comes up the track, hits the 2, then the 29. Thurston makes contact, so does Corey Lyles, Andres Varas, Carlos Truther, and big hits overall. Notably, James Thurston gets a bad rap himself, and the yellow flag is out once again. Take a look at this from the perspective of the 96 here inside the cockpit. Mangled and flipped upside down. Thurston really catching the worst of it there. And a reminder, no fast repairs. That damage will be permanent for those who have it. Caution's out again. Lars Kenneth leading, 59 laps in out of 150. He slows down once more. Kenneth remains leader. Aiden Walker, though, passed throughout that ordeal by Daniel Mosteller. Demos now finds himself running second once again. Henry Kaloff will be 4th. Walker finding himself in trouble, of course, if he gets passed by both of those juggernauts. It looks like the 87 and the 63 are the early favorites to win today. Lars Kenneth taking that dark horse role, although big contact for drivers such as Thurston. Now back on track. And, of course, Lyles, Carlos Truther, and Everett Kotz. Everett right now going to be the back of the field, 4 laps down, still getting damage repaired. $62 laps out of 150. That's our expected time for another restart. It'll be your 6th of the day as the 19 ascends high. Daniel Mosteller will be followed by Henry Kaloff. We are set to go back at it. Now we're getting close to the halfway point of tonight's event, and very quickly we're approaching the crunch time in regards to strategy. Some drivers have gone into pit road multiple times, Others, not once. So we'll see which strategy works out as we're set to return again. James Thurston in the 96 heads through nice and easy. Devins Baker in the 14 gonna follow. Baker coming through. It's time to head back at it again. Lappers are getting accompanied by the leaders. Daniel Mosteller's got it low. Lars Kinnewith has it right up high. Restart at lap number 63, and Kinnewith gets the jump by car length and a half. Daniel Mosteller heading down to the inside now, but Lars Kinnewith breaks away in the early battle for the race lead. Kinnewith getting a good shot on the number 19 machine, of course. He's been using that expertise of restart jumping as he's gotten many opportunities now up and in front. And getting more and more of that built up for Kinnewith has allowed him to take the race lead again. Now he's got the advantage. Walker, Kaloff watching behind, still can't get there as Yahir Rodriguez for the first time tonight is inside the top 5. Rodriguez getting close to where he needs to be, and that of course is the top 5, if not further. Of course, 5th on the dot right now. Next up would be the podium. Mars takes it high. River Page now going to make his way through down low, taking Chase Schaefer with them. Schaefer, last week's winner, was running in the mid-teens, and as he did in Pocono, he waited for nearly half the race to even have a chance competitively up front. And it looks like maybe a new Schaefer strategy, as he is again back inside of the top 10 after waiting many a lap to even show his face in the top 15. Lars Kinnewith leads by 0.2 of a second. Further on back, you got Braxton Whitaker, and contact from Varas, the 84 goes around. Yellow flag will not immediately wave, but Varas with a brutal hit there, you saw it live, will bring it back for a replay. And the number 84 came up the circuit at the time of the incident, and you'll see what happened right here. Wiggled high into the back straight wall, spun around completely, and we'll continue on as it looks like only one driver afflicted heavily as a result of that contact. So, we'll make it happen and we'll make it work. Lars Kinnewith is going to find himself leading. Daniel Mosteller will be second. Third place is going to be Aiden Walker. Fourth place now going to be Henry Kaloff and River Page, P5. No major changes up in front. Walker getting up to second place in Thurston. Of course, that's going to be Daniel Mosteller also in the mix. James Thurston going at it with Mohamed Omir and Doug Newbigging. Demos has to watch out now. The number 93 is right there for second. Aiden Walker following the line that Daniel Mosteller is setting here, and it looks like just working at it consistently. Don't want to do anything unpredictable or, shall we say, erratic for the time being. Just run in line, stay calm, and bring it home. That might be the mindset for some of these front runners, as now we only have 75 laps to go. At your halfway point, Lars Kinnewith leads from Daniel Mosteller. Aiden Walker then in third, Henry Kaloff in P4, and River Page then 5 finds himself in 5th. Chase Schaefer is going to be P6 with Yahir Rodriguez 7th, Mohamed Omir in 8th, and James Thurston 9th. Rounding out the top 10 is the 89 of Trey Kinsey as it stands, as we're now past the 50% point and looking to go the rest of the distance. If you've enjoyed tonight's coverage so far, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. We'd like to thank our friends at iRacing Motorsport Simulations for making tonight possible. Visit iRacing.com for additional information. Spring has just begun. Our spring sales are coming soon on iRacing. If you'd like to register and start your sim racing career today, we'll keep you up to date on every major sale on the platform so you can start your career at the right time. You can race stock cars, open wheel machines on road courses, dirt tracks, oval circuits, pavement tracks, and so much more. Daniel Mosteller goes around the outside for the race lead with Lars Kennewith, and now with 70 laps to go. We'll be right back after a message from our friends at iRacing.com. Daniel Mosteller leads in Bristol.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
65 laps remaining. Lars Kennewith side by side now with River Page, and appears the 87 is in full control. The multi-time champion, the 3-time and defending champ, as a matter of fact, is up and ahead. And for the 87 crew right now, it looks rather obvious that he's got the stuff to go the distance here. 63 laps to go. 87 Machino Mosteller's got himself the lead, and he's got it outright. Contact from Aiden Walker. Walker slides but saves it, and Chase Schaefer makes the pass. That's Schaefer for 4th. Luckily, Walker hangs on for P5, but I'll tell you this much, he won't be all too happy now as Schaefer gets away and continues to move further ahead. That was an expertly crafted move from Schaefer, even though he ended up making some contact there with Walker. Both drivers get away, and a testament to two of these veterans who have raced each other for so long that they can make something happen like that and not completely fall apart. Even though it was rigorous contact, it looks like Walker should be fine to continue competitively, and of course Schaefer made the pass and is now looking to get up inside of the podium. That fight is just ahead of him. River Page right now looks like he fades back again to Lars Kennewith. That will give Kennewith P2. Mohamed Omir right now in the 025. It looks like there's Thurston. Mohamed now trying to get up to James Thurston for 8th. Currently, it appears that we have, give or take, 20 drivers on the racetrack. Jason Semeto's night is officially over, 80 laps down, and even though there have been some damage repairs, nothing all too significant that will get him on the circuit. Van Drugman, Kenneth, everyone else in the chat room tonight, and all those who are viewing, make sure, of course, if you have a favorite driver, to shout them out in the chat room, and we'll read that shout out on the live stream. Talking with us here at FTN is free and fun. Just subscribe to the channel and say subscribed for the privilege to, of course, help us out here and give us some more information to talk about with the chat room below. We know there's a lot of fans for some of these top guys, such as Daniel Mosteller and River Page. Right now, Demos the top man, but notably, Chase Schaefer has gotten himself up into 3rd. River Page started 25th on the day. Thurston started, of course, further on back with him, his teammate. But now the independent number 99 went from 23rd up to 3rd. So in total, Chase Schaefer has gone up 20 positions, up 23 for River Page. Those two drivers combined have made up 43 positions to get up inside the podium. Daniel Mosteller has made up 2 positions on work overall from these guys, and I think Chase Schaefer is looking a little bit faster now than both ahead of him, so we might see a battle for the race lead if Schaefer can handle it from here. Chase Schaefer sailed into the podium fight, but it looks like right now he's facing a little bit more pushback just by virtue of lying back here. Doesn't want to budge into it and barge in, shall we say, compared to his competitors ahead of him. These three have raced each other for several years now, and they're no strangers to one another. And it looks like now you're starting to see a little bit of a difference in attitude between Schaefer, Page, and Mosteller. In the number 87 right now, Daniel Mosteller finds himself still leading by 16/100ths of a second. River Page will find himself the runner-up man. Thurston is in 3rd, and now Thurston is closing in, clamping down on that advantage held by River Page. At the line again, no dice. 48 laps to go, make that 47 laps remaining, and it looks like now in the Bristol Motor Speedway, we've got 3 drivers with a real shot for race victory. Side by side, Yahir Rodriguez again with James Thurston. Thurston across the line will have the edge. He just got by the number 16. That'll move Mohamed Omir up to 8th. Henry Kaloff is in 9th, and here comes Omir looking for another position. That's the number 16 on the high side for Rodriguez. Contact! Mohamed sent down the circuit. He'll come up, but he's going to lose time, and now is in jeopardy of losing a spot to Henry Kaloff. River Page has been able to shake off that 99 of Chase Schaefer. Schaefer is still 3rd, but is far from this lead battle. River Page a 10th off now from leader Demos. Still not quite there. Undoubtedly, River Page has made up about as much time as he needs to give it a chance for this race lead. But he hasn't quite gotten there to try and go down and in and try to make a pass. He's been on the tail end of Mosteller now for the better part of 25 laps. But those 25 laps have come real quick here, and most importantly, he still has 42 more laps to go. Whether or not he uses this opportunity properly all comes down to whether or not Demos has the stuff to try for a pass. Something he hasn't done yet. Still looking. Shot. And can't quite get there. At the line again, it'll be 40 laps to go. Daniel Mosteller still holding that masterful defense, and River Page has the edge. 40 laps to go will become 39 laps remaining next time by. And it looks like now Chase Schaefer's nearly a second off. Meanwhile, River Page is within 1/10 of a second now on leader Daniel Mosteller. The gap is as tight as it gets down the straightaways, and then there's a little bit of a breakage through the corners. Demos passing by those lappers. Another one going to be put down and in. That looked to be the number 42 that time by, who we haven't seen on track for the majority of the night. Of course, some of these guys have been laying low. Hudson Sangster, the man of the focus here. There's Hudson, and he's still going at it as he goes by Devins Baker several laps down. 37 laps to go. Right now, Lars Kinnewith will be battling against Carlos Truther, and also going up there against Yahir Rodriguez. Kinnewith right now is going to be on the back end of the fight, and Rodriguez makes up the spot and passes Lars. Braxton Whitaker up top. Braxton going to be right now, it looks like, 2 laps down. and that's going to help the number 16 go by. With Whitaker now finding himself up and ahead, of course, for a few more seconds on another battle. We'll see where he goes as it's side by side. He might have to split 3 wide. Kaloff and Sean Rowe coming at it. Kaloff right now is in 9th, and he's not battling directly with neither Elijah Innes or Sean Rowe, but Trey Kinsey. In 10th here, well, it looks like, no doubt about it, he's going to be one of the many fighting for lead lap position. He just went for a single-digit spot, getting around Henry Kaloff. That's for P9. "32 laps to go. Up and in front, James Thurston looking again to try to find something, but now he's a full second behind Mohamed Omir, and it looks like now Aiden Walker is coming up on Chase Schaefer. This is going to be one of the closest fights in the top 10, the second closest, but the most close of all still remains as your leading battle. River Page has not let Daniel Mosteller breathe easy all throughout this run. And now it looks like on tires, it's a 77-plus lap stint, and it should be the equipment that brings them to the very end. Less than 30 laps remaining now. Daniel Mosteller still has to look behind each and every time by. He's not mirror driving yet. He still has the defensive advantage, but as long as River Page is back there, he's going to be plotting a scheme to find victory again and bring that number 24 to victory lane. Historically speaking, both drivers who are up and in front right now, Mosteller and River Page alike, have been some of the strongest at these short circuits, and they're looking to do it once again. Advantageous currently is still Daniel Mosteller, but with River Page looking low, it's his first real chance to take the lead. 24 heads down to the bottom side. Daniel Mosteller concedes up top. River budging that 24 to the bottom now has a real opportunity. He'll concede once again, but that shows Rivers got the pace to at least throw it down there and give it a try. Couldn't quite make it work that time by, but it's real close now between these two. 25 laps to go. River Page is starting to show that he is ready to push for it. The last great Coliseum has been the home to exciting battles before, but for the lead, very rarely do we see drivers go head-to-head. Daniel Mosteller last won in Bristol through his Season 4 campaign, in which he was second place in the championship standings. The victory in Bristol kept him in the title fight and kept it close until the penultimate race of the season, at which Mosteller retired for the campaign. Now, up in front once again, with his third championship just behind him and his eyes set on a fourth, a win tonight would be pivotal. With 22 laps to go this time by, we'll crank it up with Whiplash SimCams, iRacing's best new camera service. Side by side for the race lead, things are getting tense. Page to the inside, Mosteller still with a minor edge through 4. Side by side with River Page down low, still can't clear. River now looking to lunge a little bit further through turns 1 and 2. Demos down the back straightaway keeps it toe to toe, and the 24 can't quite get there. Both drivers roughing up the circuit. Mosteller made contact with the outside wall. He'll make contact again. He'll be put out of lead. River Page, with 20 laps to go, takes it to the front. Let's crank it up in Tennessee. Mohamed Omier now scored in second. The 25 taking it from Daniel Mosteller. Demos now finding himself rounding out the podium with 14 laps to go and still counting down. River Page with the move of the day to take the lead with less than 25 laps remaining. And now he's looking to come home with the checkered flag. Twelve laps remaining. Mohamed Omier is getting closer and closer now to Page in the 0.25. While River already took the lead with a daring move, it looks like now he's got a rookie who is down to his inside, and he is looking to take the pass. For the race lead now, Mohamed slides up. River Page gives him that room on the high side, and it looks like now the 24 has company. 11 laps to go. Make it 10 this time by. Omier is faster, and now he is stuck to the bottom of the circuits. Toe-to-toe. Rivers up high and in a very similar position to Daniel Mosteller. It looks like the Omier machine has it on the bottom groove. Aladam Contreras moves out of the way. River Page now might be outmatched. Through the outside corner again, River at the line stays side by side, but no longer has any advantage. Henry Kaloff, a lapper, might play a role here. Kaloff stays to the inside, now moves up top. Kaloff, no choice but to split the middle. Both drivers get away. The 63 leaving just enough room as River Page goes high. Omier takes the bottom. Devins Baker up next. What Devins does here could be the difference between victory and defeat for either of these two drivers. Mohamed again sliding ever so slightly up top. River Page staying there. It's not clear yet for the Omier machine, but if River taps the wall, as he just did, he'll be away. Mohamed Omier takes the race lead with 6 laps to go. Now, if River Page has anything left, he better use it. Trying to get up to the quarter panel of that 0.25, but it won't work that time through. Mohamed's got the advantage. River is back in second. 4 laps to go. Omier now coming up on the lapper of Devins Baker. River Page looking just behind. Still can't get there. And in fact, Rivers dropped a half second. Omier gets up in the wall, but it looks like that mistake won't be enough to cost him big time. Chase Schaefer is up to third. Battling now with Daniel Mosteller side by side. Schaefer! Right hooks up the track. Yellow flag. Pending. The field is under yellow. We're going to overtime. River Page gets a second chance. Chase Schaefer. Race over. In a dramatic turn of events, the fight for third ends with a horrifying shock. Schaefer loose, takes the right hook from Daniel Mosteller, and you can see his right front is now scraping the track as opposed to actually driving it. Horrible hit for the 99. Mohamed Omier as your leader. He's in a very tricky position here. He looked to be the getaway guy for the victory. No longer the case. He and River Page will head down and in together. We are going to overtime. This could be the race for the victory now on pit road as drivers make their way in. Page will get the advantage. Omier will find himself behind. By a long shot, too, River Page breaks back out. Now scored in 6th as Daniel Mosteller leads with damage. Then you'll have Aiden Walker, Ray Kinsey, and James Thurston. We'll see which of these guys, if any, make their way through. overtime procedure allowing for up to 3 attempts, and last weekend, of course, we saw all 3 used in the IORA Cup Series. Not often we go to triple overtime, but it means that if there's another caution from here, we'll extend the race past lap 150. Right now, the checkered flag appears to be set for lap 154. So we're going to have ourselves a little bit more time to finish the job tonight than anything else. But if there's another yellow flag, we'll restack them, re-rack them, and go at it again until we get a green flag finish. If you get to the white flag, the race is official. However, if we don't, iRacing pace car will return, and we will head to double overtime for the second of our 3 attempts. One lap to go. Daniel Mosteller, Aiden Walker, side by side. Now, in a last-ditch effort, River Page is going to have to make it up through 2 complete rows of drivers, and Yahir Rodriguez would have to make it up through 4. It looks like Mosteller, despite everything, is going to try once again. And if he does so, and he might win even with the damage from that major Chase Schaefer hit. 2 laps to go this time by an overtime attempt. Daniel Mosteller stays out in the head, and he's looking for a miracle in the final mile of this race. 2 laps to go. Overtime attempt number 1. Demos through the opening lap is quicker, but Aiden Walker now heads to his inside with 1 lap to go. Side by side, Thurston and Walker. If they distract each other, Demos could get away for the win, and it looks like now they'll bobble through 3 and 4. Daniel Mosteller, despite the damage for the final caution, comes away and wins from Bristol, Tennessee. How about an upset for the 87 crew? Daniel Mosteller does it again. What a win for the 87 team. Mosteller's car destroyed immediately, so he couldn't even burn it down. Wow. All things considered, despite the way he won it, Daniel Mosteller dominated by the numbers. 3rd place he started in, led 90 laps, winning today by a 1/10 of a second over James Thurston. Aiden Walker will finish then in 3rd. 4th place will be Henry Kaloff. 5th place is Lars Kinowith, and River Page goes P6. Yahir Rodriguez finishes in 7th with Trey Kinsey 8th. 9th place is Mohamed Omir, and Sean Rowe is P10. 11th place on the day will be Aladon Contreras. Devins Baker is 12th with Jason Didana 13th, and Braxton Whitaker 14th place. Jay Schaefer then 15th. Corey Lyle 16th, Elijah Innes 17th, and Carlos Truther P18. With Hudson Sangster and Andres Varas rounding at the top 20 as Douglas Newbiggin, Everett Kautz, Von Drugman, Michael Cormenis, Alexander Balderas, Will Shack, Jason Cimento, Matthew Brower, and Michael Deitch finish out your 29 car grid. And this man, Daniel Mosteller, is back on top. What a win for your 87 team. We're going to talk to the man who got it done, of course, Demos, coming right up. Daniel Mosteller collecting the checkered flag today from the Bristol Motor Speedway, and although he led 90 laps, the most important were those final 2. And so, he gets the job done today, winning for the 2nd time in our last 3 appearances here in Bristol. Season 4, you got it done previously, and it looks like you're back on top for the last great Coliseum.
Yeah, on the scoreboard, it'll say that I led a lot of laps, but I can tell you right now that this was the hardest one I've had to earn in here. I made a gutsy call, taking 2 tires after I got killed. I had 8 minutes of optional. My steering wheel was bent, but I just had enough. You know, I said to myself that if this doesn't work, it's whatever. I've been these last 2 weeks here have been just completely terrible for me. Getting wrecked from the pole on lap 1 at Atlanta, and then being a lap away from victory at Pocono and having that snatched from me. I had to try something, and I wasn't gonna let this one get away. Yeah, I don't know how I pulled it off. The car was so killed. I was turning the wheel like upside down in the corners, and I'm sorry to Thurston. I threw him in the wall like 2 separate times because like the car was so tight, and yeah, it's just sloppy from my part. But I don't really care. I won.
Nevertheless, it looks like you're able to come away, even despite that final caution where you and Chase Schaefer got involved for the victory. Was there any notable damage that could have held you back, or do you think you had it regardless?
Oh, I was extremely worried about the damage. I just completely took a gamble. I already knew I was going to take 2 tires if we got a green white checkered, but the damage didn't change my mind at all. It was going straight, so that's kind of, yeah, it was going straight and you could drive it. I mean, the steering wheel was offset a little bit on the pace lap. I kind of realized that it was going to be kind of rough in the corners, but again, you're not going to know until you go out into turn 1 full speed. And thankfully, it worked. It stuck. It was tight, as I said, but I got the win. That's all that matters.
90 laps led in what was a slightly shorter short track event here in Bristol. It looks like strategy just coming down to working with those yellow flags, and a very long stint at the end where you went nearly 100 laps on tire for that final caution. Anything regarding tire performance that was of note today, or was it just running out the whole stint?
Yeah, I wasn't good on the long run. Muhammad, he saved his stuff really, really good, and he had that one. My right front was completely fried, and if Chase didn't wreck underneath me, I 100% was going to lose third, and I was probably going to lose fourth too. I just wasn't as fast on the long run as I needed to be, but on the shorter runs, I was a lot more confident than my competitors. But yeah, kind of the same story as last season, where I wasn't as good on the long run, but the short runs I thrived, and yep.
Now, bringing this championship effort back to life with a big victory before we head into our first off week of the season. We got about a week to prepare for what's next to come. It looks like that's going to be the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're heading back down to America's home for racing, a track we've been to many a time before, and you've played out pretty strong at those intermediates in previous times. So maybe a chance, of course, to keep the good times rolling as we're now getting closer to our regular season coming to a close.
Yeah, definitely a good time to get back on track. As I said, the previous 2 races, complete and utter just disaster. I went from second in the points, like 3 points behind the points leader, to 63 back just above the cut line. So we were getting to desperate times. I never really thought I had to worry about points, but here we were, and I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Now with a checkered flag in hand, the rest of this title defense program can focus on good running. Daniel Mosteller, victory today from the last great Coliseum. If you have any final comments you'd like to send out, we'd love to hear them.
Yeah, I want to thank you for broadcasting. Mason for off track and keeping everything in check. Everyone for showing up. It was a great race. I had a lot of fun, especially that long green flag run. And yeah, can't wait for not next week. I think we're off next week. But the following week.
So, with a little bit of time to spare, 2 weeks between all races, Daniel Mosteller enters our first break this season on top. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
With Daniel Mosteller on the move, second place on the day will be James Thurston in the number 96. It was an up and down day for this Thurston crew, but it ends with a major positive, benefiting greatly from our last overtime attempt. 16th to 2nd, not the best qualifying effort, but the racing result shows something with a lot more potential, and of course, you made it work.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we were really just working with what we had to kind of an extreme tonight. We were upside down and in the pit barrels at one point, so really just to finish the race, I'm pretty happy with that. I have no idea how the car wasn't killed after that happened. I don't even know how I flipped All I know is the car sat back down on its wheels. My spotter told me I've got damage in various places, and it drove okay enough to be 6th on pace. Then we got that yellow, got really fortunate in the pit cycle, and probably should have won the race, honestly, but Demos, I guess he was just tight and he couldn't hold the car down, so I just had to run into his bumper like 3 times coming to the finish and settle for 2nd. So, yeah, good finish. Terrible, terrible race for me. But, well, not really that terrible. It just kind of some terrible things that happened.
And you were involved in some pretty brutal incidents in the midway point of the race, able to recover even though there were no faster pairs. Did you spend any considerable time on pit road, or was there anything major you had to deal with in regards to that damage?
Sorry. It had about 2 minutes and 20 seconds, I think, of damage that I could have fixed. I only got to fix like 40 seconds of it. So, yeah, I was just trying to stay on the lead lap. I mean, it drove okay, honestly. Like, it really didn't drive that bad. It wasn't race winning at all. The car drove horrible on a long run, but, you know, it wasn't like wearing out any of the tires super aggressively. So just kind of rode around, was going to easily get a top 6 or 5 or so, whatever we were going to be before Chase spun by himself. But, yeah, just thanks to Power Smash, Infinity Speed Motorsports, Murphy Esports, this series, IORA, Jones Racing setups, all the great teams and sponsors and everyone that helps me to go fast in this league.
Now we're heading into our first break of the season, so before we head off and let you be, next race is Charlotte in 2 weeks' time. You feeling any specific way toward America's Home for Racing, our next event?
I don't know. I guess we're just going to have to see and find out.
That said, James Thurston, second on the day here from Bristol, Tennessee, and capitalizing big on our final run. Thank you once again for your time.
Thank you, David.
Thurston on the move. Our last man is the number 93 of Aiden Walker. Walker again finishing strong and keeping the good times rolling. It looked like for a moment there he had a chance to dive deep and go for the win, but he'll have to settle for third today on that brief 2-lap stint. Aiden, welcome back to the podium.
Pretty nice to be back here. I really don't deserve to be on this podium. I think Amir should be on the podium because just that late caution just destroyed him because Mason forgot to put on dual pit roads, and that just, I feel bad for him, man. But overall, pretty good day. Somehow I actually got luck out of this paint scheme for once, so maybe we can just keep this momentum going now that we've survived Bristol. So as long as we can keep that momentum going, I think we'll be doing really good for the rest of the season. Looking pretty fine too, so hopefully we can keep it up. I really have no idea if we can keep it up, but hopefully next week we can actually keep it.
And undeniably,
hopefully way too much.
You know, you worked out that ending part of the race a lot better than where you started. You had pace, you came and went, honestly. It was very tricky to figure that out. You qualified P5, got up there in the fight for the lead early, but really faded away before that final caution. Was there something causing you trouble in the long run?
I think it was just me mainly getting held up by like a few people, and then once I got by those like few people, it was just my tires weren't the greatest after that point, because when you're riding the top, it really kills your stuff, as probably everyone watching knows if they've gotten iRacing experience at all. So pretty much after we got into that long run, I had a little bit of contact with Schaffer, but I mean, I look back to the replay, it was just a weird moment with a little netcode, but we would have made contact anyways, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know really what happened there. It looked like a racing incident, but I'll still take part of blame on it. So then pretty much I was just selling for fifth at that point. Then we had the caution with Schaffer and Demos, and then Demos took 2 for the last restart. I slightly spun the tires a little, which kind of put it to where Demos was ahead with the 2, which he nearly lost it in 1 and 2, but then on the final lap hanging in 3 and 4. I wasn't really thinking of doing a bump and run. Then Demos starts backing up the corner. I was like, I'm still not going to do it just because I don't really need to. I'm trying to keep myself in a good position for the rest of the season. I don't want to get a penalty or anything. So overall, just trying to be smart and not getting involved in the wrecks.
letting it slide before our biggest gap between races in the entire regular season. 1 week away, and then we're back for Charlotte. You got your first win of the season, of course, jousting at the intermediates. And last time we went to a 1.5 mile circuit, you won. Maybe a chance to go 2 for 2 in the last month.
Yeah, maybe. I have really no idea how Charlotte's gonna go. Just usually it's an okay track for me. I'm competitive, but everyone's competitive there, so I think that's gonna be probably one of my just a little harder races of the season where everything gets a lot more spread out, a lot easier. Hopefully Demos and River don't get caught up in a wreck again like last season. I get involved by almost ARCA breaking it, so hopefully next week's pretty good. Well, not next week, week after next week, because the spring break. But hopefully that all goes good and keep this points lead. Hopefully.
The fight continues to lead the championship standings to the end of the regular season. Aiden Walker, another good points day, coming through third place in the night in Bristol. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Oh, wait. Subscribe to FTN.
Hooray! Thank you once again, Aiden, for your time.
Thank you.
With Walker on the move, we've heard from your top 3 drivers. The 93 of Walker rounding out the podium. Second place in James Thurston from 16th up to 2nd. And Daniel Mosteller, the defending champ, at long last, back to victory lane. So concludes tonight's coverage of the IORA Cup Series. Our next race on the calendar is in about 50 minutes. The Highline Racing League will go racing at a short track. We're not quite sure which yet, but that will be decided before 9:30. And if you want to continue watching with us live on FTN, visit, of course, our main page, and you'll see the link to the Highline Racing League coverage coming up next. Stick with us on this IORA Cup Series feed as well, and we'll automatically redirect you at 9:30 p.m. Eastern to our next broadcast of the Westlake Royal Building Products Premier Series. From, of course, the entire FTN Broadcasting team, I've been David Troyes, your commentator and producer. You've been watching coverage from the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway tonight of Race 5 in the IORA Cup Series. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Of course, tune in 2 weeks' time for our next IORA Cup Series race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Thank you for tuning in. If you'd like, our next event is at 9:30 p.m. with the Highline Racing League, and we'd love to have you there as well. We hope you have a fantastic night.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Boundless makes its presence felt. It will not be ignored. We're helping turn ideas into reality with a wealth of building products that take every architectural style to the next level. This is what it's like to imagine, build, and transform anything we want into exactly what we seek. This is what it means to be boundless.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.